Hello everyone and welcome back to the Home Learning Helper. Today's video comes at the request of a viewer named Amanda. She is currently helping her daughter through virtual learning, and so I just want to give a quick shout out to her and say you're doing a great job, Amanda. Keep it up. So let's get into the water cycle. When we're thinking about the water cycle, there are a few key concepts we're going to focus on, and that is the states of the water as it travels through the water cycle, how the water moves throughout the cycle, pollution and how that can enter the cycle, clouds and their different types, and then energy transfer is part of this, but that's more of a topic for later grades, so we'll touch on it, but I will make a more detailed video about that soon. So the image I have drawn here, or some variation of it, is pretty commonly used to illustrate the water cycle, and not only that, but also why I am not an art teacher. So looking at this, we have solid water in the form of ice on these mountain caps. We have liquid water in the ocean down here. And then what we can't see is the water vapor in the air, which is our gas. Now that we have our states of matter, we're going to look at how water moves through the cycle. And to do that and make it simple here, we're going to look at one drop of water and its journey through this pretty simple picture that I have here. So we're going to picture that this drop of water is frozen in the ice at the top of this mountain. And over time, that ice melts, and the water flows down this river or stream from the top of the mountain into our larger body of water here. Could be a lake, could be an ocean, it doesn't really matter, but over time, the water on the surface there is going to get excited and eventually move up into the atmosphere and become water vapor, that gas that we just talked about. Now, once it's in the atmosphere, it's going to climb higher and higher into the atmosphere, and as it does that, the air gets cooler and cooler. And that's when it undergoes the process of condensation. It comes together and forms what we see as clouds. Now, we're going to talk about clouds in a second, but we're not going to go too in depth talking about all the different types. What we need to know here is that from the clouds, we have our next step in the process, which is precipitation, that water coming back down to the earth in various forms. Humans are also going to play a role in how the water moves through the cycle. And here we're going to look at the role humans play with pollution. Now, it might not look like it, but in the center of this picture here, I have drawn a factory and a farm. So we're going to imagine that on this farm, the farmer wants to keep bugs off of their crops. So they are going to spray pesticides. And those pesticides are eventually going to run off into our larger body of water here and join the water cycle. Now we can look at the factory as well and look at any pollutants that are being put up into the air from that. And as those pollutants are released into the air, they're going to join with that water vapor, and eventually that's how we get things like acid rain. Looking at clouds here, we're going to keep it nice and simple. We're not going to get into all of the different names and the type of weather they bring. We're just going to look at general trends with it. So generally, light, thin clouds are going to equal nice weather, and then kind of darker, more fluffy clouds are going to equal not so nice weather. A common misconception that students have is that clouds have this almost cotton pillow like texture to them. You know, they think about laying on a cloud and how comfortable that would be. But it's important for students to recognize that clouds are not a pillow. It's more like fog on the ground level, where if you tried to lay on it, you would just fall right through. If you want to try to beat this misconception, try asking your student if they would like to sleep on a cloud. If they say yes, explain why it probably wouldn't be the nice, relaxing, enjoyable experience that they think it would be. Thanks everyone for watching, and thanks again to Amanda for recommending today's topic. Please remember to send any questions, comments, or recommendations to homelearninghelper@gmail.com. I'm always happy to answer any quick questions you might have. Helpful links are going to be in the description down below, and I hope everyone is staying